Grades are not a measure of your worth or intelligence. We have to be really careful with believing in what schools can do for us. And no matter what, we need to accept responsibility for our own education. Our knowledge is too sacred to entrust somebody else with. Listen to the top-selling audiobooks. You can find them at the library for free. Learning at your own pace and in the sequence that fits you best should give you a really good idea of what real education really is like. We can't sit down in class and expect to become wise. School is great for memorizing language and memorizing how to write and spell because these things are meant to be memorized, stored within our memory for recall. But a formula is a little machine, a little engine or program. It must be taken apart, explained, studied, and understood. The teacher must be able to show you how fascinating it is. If they can't do that, then they are not a teacher. If a teacher tricks you into thinking that you are not smart, that is a setup. They are kind of neutralizing you, discouraging you from standing up and saying, "But you only made us memorize it. And that is not learning. That is just forcing us into acting like we have learned." They rarely need to go this far. They learn from each other how to be arrogant and cunning. They will just threaten you with failing the class if you don't memorize. When a teacher says, "Study for the test tomorrow," that is them encouraging you to memorize it. To study something requires months and years, journals and research. To tell you to study for something tomorrow or next week is an insult. They are asking you to cram, to memorize. This right here is the reason why you need to read books. These people are making you pretend that you are getting an education so that they get a paycheck. And this is completely flying over your head. You have to be smarter than the teachers, even if only to stop stressing about classes and grades. You have to be good to yourself. Reading a few dozen books will help you get a better picture of the world. You'll be able to see that very few things actually work as advertised. And just for that tiny reason alone, there's no way schools are an exception. Please, don't let anybody trick you into thinking that you are not smart. We are all equally intelligent, and we all greatly enjoy learning and adventure. Stress will, however, prevent you from learning, because learning requires healthy curiosity and joy of life. You have to be free to actually find your path and your sequence of curiosities and slow down to find the pace at which you learn best. Please, if you have bad grades, that just means you naturally reject brainless memorization. That does not mean you are unintelligent. That probably means that you find inner workings of formulas and systems delightful and most enlightening. As we grow more mature, we all develop a tendency to prefer real knowledge over memorized gibberish. People with bad grades tend to be more mature than those who accept memorization without any discomfort. If the world did trick you that you are less intelligent than the smart kids, you'll be okay. But you can't allow things like this to be happening in your life. A considerable part of meaning of life is to become a great being by leaving behind meaningful and lasting contributions to those who come after you. You can't let people interfere with your education, or your self-esteem, or your intelligence, or your well-being, because those things are sacred. Please go to your library and begin listening to all the popular audiobooks. Listen to all the best-selling nonfiction. The bestsellers usually hold the best kind of wisdom. Help the others. Make sure no other student is tricked into thinking that they aren't smart. Even if they say they know this, they will still appreciate the reminder.